Oh, what's going on, everybody? Welcome to episode 689 of FloWrestling Radio Live. I'm your host, Christian Piles, joined, as always, by Ben Funky Askren, James Dean Rader. We're all here. And today we have a very special guest. He's a junior world champion. He wrestles in all tournaments available, freestyle, Greco. If there's sumo, beach, he may throw his hat in the ring. His name's Braxton Amos. Braxton, what's going on, man?
How you guys doing?
Super good, man. Super good. Really appreciate you you hopping on here. Are you back home?
Yeah. I'm back home in West Virginia for a little bit, so I'm excited to have something to do and be on the show.
Nice. Bracky putting you through a Parkersburg training camp or something? What's going on?
No, I haven't seen him yet. Hopefully he comes by the welcome home party tonight.
Oh yeah, that'd be cool. Yeah, he's up in Morgantown. I saw you now have a street named after you. That's got to be awesome. Braxton Amos Drive. I don't know the laws of the road, but it would seem like you can't get a ticket on a street named after you. So you could probably speed and do whatever you want, park illegally. It's the world's your oyster.
Yeah, no, my sister asked if that means she can go as fast as she wants on the street because it's right behind my high school. So I don't know. Hopefully she still abides by speeding laws, but who knows?
No, y'all get immunity.
Yeah, you have immunity. I'm certain of it. So
I was pretty sad, Christian, that Kyle wasn't gonna be on the show because he would have been fanboying very hard this morning. And
he'd be loving it. He'd be loving it.
It would great. It was really good.
So Braxton, I guess you just accomplished something really incredible. I mean, winning a junior world title is huge, but then to several days later turn it around and then compete in the Greco and come home with a medal is an insane accomplishment. Talk about or just describe the challenge of getting up, having that high, and then knowing, okay, I have to make weight again and I've got to wrestle again and everyone's going to be really, really good that I'm competing. How are you able to navigate that so well?
It's tough. It's tough because you have the initial like, oh my God, I just won a world championship, and then that night you kind of just don't focus on it, on the Greco side of things, and you enjoy being around the freestyle guys for another night and seeing them off in the morning, and then it goes back to business. We got a cup of coffee and we put a plan together of what we wanted to do up until it was time to wrestle again. So I mean, it was as much fun as it was kind of just business as usual because I mean we've done it before between last chance and the Olympic trials, and then obviously the junior trials we did it very similar. So we already kind of had a blueprint of how to do it.
Yeah. So how much of the cut or of a cut is there for you down to 97 kilos?
None.
Zero cut.
No, zero cut. I woke up on weight. The night before I ate breakfast, lunch, and dinner. So I mean, it was an easy cut. So it wasn't bad at all.
Nice. So there's been a lot of discussion about your size and are you a 197 long term? Is that how you see yourself, 197 long term? Could you ever eventually wrestle up at heavyweight?
I mean, I see myself as a 97 for 5 years. I mean, I'm not supposed to grow anymore, and I've already been, I weighed in for the Dudley match at I think 202 or 203. So I mean, I still had weight to lose there. So, I mean, I feel like I can make 97 comfortably for the next, 5 years, assuming I don't, suddenly hit a growth spurt that I'm not supposed to.
Yeah. So you say 5 years. Are you thinking of redshirting it somewhere in the next 5 years? Is it the next Olympic year or what are you thinking there?
We don't know for sure. We're still kind of trying to figure that out as it goes on because, we don't know how the team's going to be in 2 or 3 years. If the team's contending for a national championship the same year as the Olympics. Yeah, I'll do both like Snyder did. So I mean, we'll cross the bridge when we get to it, but it's easier to say 5 years and then do 4 than say 4 years and then have to figure out a 5th year.
Right. That makes sense. So obviously, there's a lot of excitement coming into your next year, and I'm assuming you're going to be wrestling 197 for the Badgers this season. How excited are you to enter into college competition?
I mean, I'm more than excited. I mean, it's been a dream of mine growing up, in the wrestling community of, hey, I want to wrestle in college. I want to wrestle Division I. And then as I learned more, I was like, all right, I want to wrestle Big Ten. And now I'm actually in it. So, I mean, I'm excited to compete and excited to see where I stand among, some of the best guys in the world.
Looking at the field, there's the obvious question, you versus AJ. I think what's interesting about it is not only two really, really good guys. You've got another world champion, Rocky Elam's going to be in the mix. You've got the returning NCAA finalist, Bonacorsi, all there. But you and AJ, from a personality standpoint, I think you couldn't be much more different, right? Like he's currently right now, you're wearing a shirt. That is just something that would not happen with the AJ Ferrari interview. It wouldn't happen. So, the question's going to get asked for the foreseeable future, and I kind of picked on you on the show yesterday for talking about, you were saying how you have to qualify for NCAAs first. I thought that was funny, but very good coach speak. If you have a career in coaching down the line, I think that's a pretty good indication. But just discuss how much thought are you going to give to that specific matchup going into this year?
Honestly, not a lot, because I mean I meant it when I said, hey, I have to get through everybody else to get to AJ. If I do my job and he does his job, we'll eventually meet. But we'll study, everybody in the top 20 of the rankings and put a game plan together for him. And if we have to execute the game plan, we'll put it to work. But if not, oh well,
So we've watched a lot of your freestyle and Greco career, and that's really where you've shined really bright. You won Super 32. You've won some good folk style terms, but give the fans kind of a sense of your game in folk style. What's your top wrestling like? What maybe variations of your style will people see when you take the folk style mat?
Very Mitch Clark, Trent Hilger-esque on top. I grew up going to camps with Trent. Actually, I grew up going to Mitch's camps with Trent. So it was fun to learn from those guys, and I kind of modified it to my own style, and I'm excited to see if it works at the next level. I mean, it did in high school, so I mean it's the same general group of guys, at the top of high school and the top of college. So I'm excited to see if I can make it work again.
Heck yeah. Now you've entered the senior level. You made the Olympic trials finals in Greco, and you qualified for the Olympic trials in freestyle. What is your senior level, calendar going to look like moving forward?
Obviously, I'm not doing the trials in a couple weeks. Just between school and just coming off of the World Championships, it's a little too soon for me. So, obviously I'll skip that. And then U.S. Open Challenge Tournament and Final X is hopefully the progression that we go. Maybe the NYAC tournament. I heard that might be a couple weeks after NCAA's, so maybe there, maybe not. We don't know for sure yet. Definitely, the open trials, and then, if everything goes right, Final X.
Do you think you would consider any weight other than 97 kilograms? If you're walking around at 200, 92 is kind of right there, but it's not the Olympic weight. Would you ever consider that weight?
Probably not, just because I can't do both styles if I'm weighing 92. I've said it a couple times, and I'll say it again. I'm going to be doing both until I physically can't be doing both. So it'll I'll stay at night until they decided to change the weights again for freestyle and Greco.
What how hard was it to be around the Wisconsin program last year and not be able to represent the Badgers by wearing the Wisconsin singlet? And kind of what did your training look like there when you're not officially, part of the program, quote unquote?
Yeah, so it was tough, being, especially watching the duels on TV, just watching, everybody on the team said we sucked last year. That wasn't a big secret. So, I mean, not being able to help contribute to the team really hurt me and hurt my confidence going into everything. But we worked it out. We made it work. We were training out of a barn 30 minutes away for a while. So, I mean, it was interesting, and it definitely made me grow up a little bit. But I think with us being back in the room and, our team, starting to come together, I think it's going to be a good year.
So, hey, can we go back to the Greco freestyle thing? I guess if you see yourself doing that really, really long term, do you split your time 50-50 training wise on both styles? Do you lean one way? Are there specific areas you focus on, or how do you break that down?
So it's just kind of, as we get closer to competition, it gets to be more 50-50. But earlier, right after trials, I trained a lot more Greco than I did freestyle, and then as kind of the summer progressed, I pushed it more towards the 50-50 aspect or 50-50 split, just because I took the Greco training opportunities as they came to me, just because it's harder to find Greco partners, it's harder to find Greco coaches, and I mean training opportunities in general for Greco are pretty slim right now. So, yeah. USA Wrestling and Sunkist kind of threw a couple opportunities at me to train, with the Olympic team and overseas. So I took them, and then kind of started training freestyle more towards the back end of the training cycle.
Got it.
All right. So obviously you mentioned the World Team Trials that are going to be happening, and you've got a definite tie in the 61 kilogram bracket with your coach Seth Gross going to be entered. That insane bracket, insane weight class. Just give some thoughts on Seth, how he's looking right now, and just your excitement or thoughts about the 61 kilogram field that he'll be entering.
Yeah, no, I'm excited to watch him wrestle. With him being a bigger weight class, I'm excited to see how he performs. He was looking great in the room whenever I left. I heard he had a pretty good training camp in Arizona while we were out in Russia. So I'm excited to see how him and the other RTC athletes do. I mean, like I said, they look great when I left on Sunday, I think. So I mean, we'll see. I think he's the guy at 61, and I hope he does well and proves it.
Seth's obviously a super unique style of wrestler. Has he worked with you on anything specific? Was it more baseline? Did he show you some of his trickier stuff?
Yeah. I mean, getting ready for Worlds, I picked his brain a little bit, trying to figure out, all right, if I need to pull something weird out at the last second, how do I do it? What do I do? And we worked on some situations. If baseline's not working, what do we go to? And it turned out working, because there was a couple spots where the initial baseline defense wasn't working, or in the match against, I think, the turkey match in freestyle, I was in on a leg. The guy hits a crotch lock and tries to throw me through, and I scrambled out of it. I contribute almost all my scrambling to the coaches and Trent at this point, because in high school I couldn't scramble very well, and I think working with them has helped a lot.
Nice. I don't. Ben, do you have more questions for Braxton?
No, I think the Greco and freestyle thing is fascinating.
Yeah.
I don't think we've anyone. Me, Adam Kuhn, I guess maybe, but no one else at a high level in the modern era. So I'm excited to see you follow that down, and obviously you proved it this year. So we'll see how that goes moving forward. It's going to be awesome to watch.
Oh, I had one other thing, Braxton, before we let you go, and really appreciate you coming on. Your Junior World Final. You very nearly ended a life. It was a very very violent act that you performed. But it was sort of strange. The match was like, all right, he's going to tech this dude, to, oh my gosh, how is this match close? He's so much better than this guy, to you bomb him, and then it's really, really over. But those periods between the final bomb, it was sort of tense. Talk us through the decision to just go for it in that moment when all this guy is looking for is for you to engage upper body.
Yeah, so I mean, we, I'd worked that position, literally right before I left. The day I got on the plane, Trent and I were working, out of over under, just seeing, all right, how do I get out of an inside trip? How do I get out of an outside trip? So I mean, the fact that guy only had a double over outside trip fit in perfectly to what we were working with, and I had seen him get it against, I think, Iran in the semis, and that was, his only two moves were a chest wrap and a double over. So, I mean, it couldn't have worked out better. I felt him, starting to, get to it. And I figured, I was like, all right, I can either let him, do it, or, I can try this. And if it doesn't work, maybe they call a slip and, we come back up to our feet, or maybe it hits and, I end the match. So, I mean, it was kind of a long-term thinking process in that entire over-under or double-under exchange. But yeah, no, it was definitely a all right, this is either going to work or I'm going to look like an idiot kind of thing. So
hero or zero, you're the hero. You won. I mean, kind of not capping off because the ladies crushed it too. But just the momentum of USA Wrestling from the Olympic performance, 9 medals, to the men's freestyle has 3 champs. The ladies have 4 and win. How exciting was it on the ground just to be a part of the American contingent there and be a part of that winning?
It was awesome. It was awesome to be a part of Team USA over there, especially since, we couldn't have any fans, no parents, no fans. So, I mean, it was literally just us and our the teammates and support staff and personal coaches. And it was awesome because, at one point in time, I think it was during Rocky's match, and I forget which country he was wrestling. They were chanting, we were chanting, we were yelling at each other during his match, and it was great to just kind of have the camaraderie of we have, I don't know how many high schools and colleges represented between the three styles, but it was fun to be able to all come under one banner.
Yes, it was great for sure.
I want you to know, Braxton, we were out in the office here at HQ watching your final, and because you had been in that over-under position earlier and thrown yourself and given up the 4, when y'all got there again, I was going, no, because I could see the wheels turning in your head, like, if he steps in again, I'm going to throw. If he steps in again, but I didn't want you to do it. But then you killed him, so it was tremendous. And then I freaked out. And
yeah, we screamed in the middle of the office. And there was a meeting going on right outside of where we were yelling, but it's okay. They're kind of used to it with us.
Yeah.
It was awesome.
It was awesome. So that was a lot of fun.
Yeah. Well, Braxton, really appreciate you coming on. Say hey to your parents for me. They're awesome, and I'm sure they're going to enjoy this time with you before you head to Madison and crush it for the Badgers. So,
a couple more things before you go. Did Wisconsin allow fans at their football games last year, and if so, were you able to get to one?
Oh, did he jump around?
Yes.
So, no football fans last year.
Oh.
It sucks. I'm missing our first game back this year. I'm doing a camp in northern West Virginia, so I'll be watching on TV for that, and then
It's fine. Go make your money.
Yeah. I couldn't do it all summer because of training, so I decided I was like, all right, I can miss the first football game, go do a camp back home, and try to go wrestling out here. But I'm excited. I'm excited to be in Camp Randall and watching football.
Yeah, I know. I've never been to a Wisconsin game, but from what I hear, definitely one of the top atmospheres in college football. Also, how's your ear? Because I think, was it at Trials where it was one of the bigger ears, more blown up ears that I've seen in my day?
Yeah. It's doing good. I've had it drained a few times since then, but it blew up again. I think at like one of our acclimation days in Russia. So obviously the head rep made another appearance.
I figured that's what it was. No headgear though.
Yeah, no headgear this time. Mainly because I forgot it in my room on my bed. But at this point, I have a couple weeks off. I think I'm just gonna let the ear harden up, and sorry, Mom. It's gonna look.
There you go.
Very good. Well, Braxton, thanks so much for your time. Enjoy your time at home, and I can't wait to watch you tear it up for Wisconsin this year.
Thank you for having me on, guys.
Yeah, brother. See you,
Later.
Braxton. Braxton Amos, world champ, world's bronze medalist, all-around good guy.
Good guy, bad dude.
Good, bad dude. Do not want any part of upper body exchange with this young man. No, sir. So,
How much do you have to pay you to go over under body lock?
Oh, well, it won't take much. I can take a beating. I don't think he'll kill me.
What if
He might.
He could if
Long enough.
If he wanted to kill me, I guess he could. So maybe I just shouldn't engage.
He's
with
probably
him.
too nice.
I don't think he'd kill me. He almost killed that guy though, so who knows? All bets are off, and I'm very light. I'm very throwable.
You're very throwable.
Okay, Ben, you don't have to agree so exuberantly. That's what you say. No, CP, you might be able to. No, you're very throwable. All right, thanks for the confirmation. The most interesting thing is, while we've speculated how big he is, not super big. Going to be able to hopefully hold down 197. That's definitely the plan. That he doesn't cut at all for 97 kilos makes sense and is good. So
yeah, I didn't realize the Greco weights were that different. I went and looked after he said that. There's not which actually I kind of like the Greco weights more when I looked at them, but it goes from 87 to 97. There's no freestyle goes 86, 92, 97, and generally I think there's too many weight classes up top. It kind of gets a little thin sometimes. So I kind of like the freestyle, the Greco weights.
What would be a fun thing to do is like put the Greco weights out and be like, what would our team look like if these were the weights? Like, who would we lose? Would we gain any guys?
Well, because you go 55, 60, 63, 67. So you're essentially making 4 weight classes where there's only 3 in freestyle. So that would be really interesting because, like, I'm sure, say, a Spencer would go down to 55, would be the guess. And then obviously then you still have a 60, but then you have a 63. So a lot of those 61s are going to go up to 63, and you're going to have 60. Yeah, it'd be interesting.
The fact that freestyle and Greco have different weights is one of the more weird things about senior level international wrestling.
I'll just say it's one of the more weird things about sports to ever happen. That Greco males weigh differently than freestyle males.
Why is it? I literally have no idea. Why is it?
I don't even have a guess.
Not even a guess?
I don't know.
Well, I think I believe I heard the rumor was like they literally made Greco's biggest weight 130 so Lopez could still make it.
Really?
I heard that from multiple people. Like,
so then they just adjusted every single one.
What about all the small ones? Because there's
I don't know.
There's one less big one and one more small one.
No idea. I don't. I remember reading an explanation, and I was like, okay, I don't really understand it, but that's okay. I think they should have the same weights. I also think our lightest weight should be like 60 or 61. Not 57 or 55. My gosh,
Really?
55.
57, 55 small.
55.
Come on, man. Day of? How many people day of 121, 2-hour weigh-ins twice?
Yeah.
Come on.
So you think 57 is that small still? What would you make it? 59, 60?
Well, all right.
I definitely wouldn't make it 61. 61 is too big.
Here's what I'd say.
Yeah, I think so.
My opinion is 60, 61 should be an Olympic weight, period. That is just like that historically has been an incredible, incredible weight class. And it's not an Olympic weight, and that is silly to me. And I think it should be. And so by that, I think, okay, well, if we have to get rid of a lighter weight and move things around to make that an Olympic weight, I would sign up for that. Not that I think 57 is a good weight. It's fine, but 60/61 should be an Olympic weight. I mean, it was the best. It was the best weight, the most fun weight for forever. And they're like, no.
Yeah, no, you're right.
Well, there's just too few Olympic weight classes in general. But
for sure.
That is one where we are deprived of a lot of talent and skill.
Heck yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so that was fun. Glad to chat with him. Excited for 197 next year. Excited for Big Tens. Everything.
Yeah. 197 is going to be the best weight class, and you guys have partied on 197 for years. Ready for this 197 being so awesome.
We've been raising the roof, jumping around, but now it's going to be amazing. I'm really looking forward to it. One thing that's interesting, I really found myself just deviating and being wishy-washy about 61. It's like, man, Seth Gross is a monster, and up at 61, how much different is he going to look? Because we've seen so much of him at 57 recently, especially the last year. He really maintained a pretty light weight class. How much better is he gonna look at 61? And it's not like he looked bad at 57 ever. We were always waiting for him to look like, okay, the cut finally got to him, and it just never happened with him. But now that he's back up at 61, 133 was his weight in college where he was so dangerous. How's he gonna look here?
Yeah, I mean, it's probably the most ideal weight class for him. Unfortunately, it's not an Olympic weight, so he doesn't really wrestle there all that often. Man, there's just not a lot of separation between these guys, so I'm fascinated to see it happen too. Because you feel like, more naturally or better. Like Suriano's probably a better 57. Spencer Lee, obviously, who's not competing this weekend. But then you think of Seth as, I think, absolutely a more natural 61 than he is 57. Vito is probably, I think, a more natural 57. So you kind of go back and forth between the guys. It's going to be, who are you picking? Suriano?
Probably, yeah. He was my pick going into Olympic trials. I thought he was just wrestling fantastic. And yeah, he's my pick. But so I think about someone like Seth, and I think he can win. But I also think there's some like absolute undeniable guys that don't match up, that he doesn't match up great with. Joe Colon, Nishan. Those have been historically problematic matchups. He can beat them. I think he should have beat Joe Colon at the Olympic trials. I thought that was a really strangely officiated match.
Sometimes what happens when you get in those shootouts, though.
But it wasn't even.
That's true.
It is true, but anyway. And Joe Colon and Nishan Garrett have been particular thorns in his side historically, though he can beat them. So that makes me think, okay, probably won't pick him because those guys exist.
The fact that you have to operate a bracket and go through those thorns and maybe multiple thorns, and you can't lose one match.
What do we think a Seth Gross Dayton Fix match looks like?
Whew, that's interesting.
Because with Dayton,
I don't think. Go ahead, Christian. Sorry.
I think it's a pretty decent matchup for Dayton there, because he's not going to try to have a shootout, a leg attack shootout with him. He's going to pick his spots, control center. But can he get on top? Because I think he could actually potentially turn Seth.
Heck yeah. I mean, he's one of the best on top in
He can
America.
turn anyone, right?
Seth can't not shoot, so it's a matter of, can Dayton capitalize if Seth doesn't take a good shot?
And that's the other thing. Can Seth get to his 2-on-1 and really can he work Dayton, or will he be able to hand fight out of that and prevent? It's an interesting match. Have they ever hit? There's probably gonna be like
Um,
an example of that of a match, and I probably
I
called
don't
it.
remember them hitting.
I don't think so.
Well, no, because
They were supposed to that one duel, and then
yeah.
it was at South Dakota State. I remember someone was there, but we didn't. For whatever reason, one of them didn't wrestle, and I can't even recall who.
Boy, no, because Seth didn't wrestle the one year that Dayton was a freshman. Seth didn't compete, right? Yeah.
No, 1 year I think they were in the same way. Maybe I'm misremembering. Who knows?
No, because Dayton took second. I mean, Seth took second and first, and Dayton took second, and Dayton wrestled Nick in the finals, so they definitely didn't cross over.
Oh, this was the year that Seth was going to wrestle, and he
got hurt.
He even wrestled a match, I think. He pinned like an Arizona State guy. But it was early in the year, and we didn't realize he wasn't going to wrestle that season. And he didn't even know at that point. So it was that season. Yeah. So it was Seth that didn't wrestle. So I have no idea how that match goes in freestyle. I think Parterre's going to play a role. I think Seth's ability to finish leg attacks will play a big role. And Dayton is so filthy when you attack his legs. But like JD said, Seth is going to attack because he attacks. And he is Seth.
Yes.
So, man, I don't know. I think Soriano. I believe Soriano. But, man, everyone's going to – and I'm picking him because I think he has the most – he has a style that
Do we know what the seeds are already? Or when do those come out?
I assume they won't come out until like
right before.
Yeah.
Well, we're only 10 days out now. We're not super far away.
No, so like I mean like the day before, kind of thing.
You mean the day before?
Yes, when brackets.
And they do the seating meeting.
No, sometimes they do. Sometimes they do pre-seeds. Like
you're right. You're right. You know what?
Yeah.
I'll put it.
And then they adjust when people don't show up or go up, or that's always been a thing too.
Yes. Okay. Well, I'll put an inquiry in there. Okay. Had a clip wanted to play because we talk a little about coaching here.
This is interesting.
This is interesting. If Tyler can pull it in, Trent Dilfer, former NFL quarterback and longtime ESPN commentator, is now a coach, a high school football coach, and there's a clip of him kind of went viral of him getting physical with a player on the sideline during a game, and it kind of kicked off a good bit of discussion about, hey, is this good coaching? Is this bad coaching, etc. So we're gonna pull that in here, and you can watch it. If you're watching the video right now, you're seeing it. It's just he's got his hands on the kid. He kind of shoves off. He's demonstrably pointing, sit down. He's yelling at the kid. Very, very, very exuberant, I guess you could say.
Yeah. So what's your take, Christian? I'm very curious to hear what yours is.
My take is I think there is a scenario where getting loud can make sense. To me, if you have to go to these lengths to get compliance out of your athlete, they don't respect you. And this is an issue of they don't respect Trent Dilfer, right? I think a coach that has to escalate to this level of power and moving the kid, it's like, because I know for me, and I've heard other people talk about this, like if a coach or like even right now like a mentor, it wouldn't take much if someone I respected, they're like, hey, that's not the standard. Hey, that's not good enough. Like that would go just as far. Hey, I'm disappointed here because I respect that person so much and their opinion. That will go a really long way for me, and it did in high school. And it didn't take much to completely like, oh my gosh, help me have that moment. But I don't know what was happening here. I don't know if this kid was trying to fight someone for all I know. But if it doesn't, to me, I think it's unnecessary. And if the idea is to help the kid and to help the team, I don't think this does it.
Yeah. So I would say this is more. Not that this doesn't happen in wrestling; it's more prevalent in football. But I just think of, like you said, relationships. Like I have not got. I would say he lost his temper. I have not lost my temper with the athletes at AWA. Not with my wife. Not with my brother. My brother probably pisses me off the most. But I never lost my temper like this to any point in my history that I can remember. And that's kind of what it is too. Is a loss of temper to feel the need to go off like this. So, in that sense, I say it's a lack of composure. So you're showing that for your athletes too, which, we don't want lack of composure in athletics. It doesn't lead to good results. But that being said, I can remember Coach Smith at Missouri, not to this extent, but I can remember him raising his voice, say more than I did. And it was never specifically at me because, I don't think you had to tell me, like you said, I don't think you had to tell me, loud, just tell me and all it's done. It's no big deal. You yelling is not going to help get it done because I'm just not going to respond. I think you're nonsense if you're yelling like that. But he would lose his mind every once in a while, and I think that it had the desired respect. And I think, I believe his dad was a football coach in Florida. And so, like with Coach Smith, you said, I don't see that they don't respect him or whatever. Like, people in Missouri absolutely respected Coach Smith. We some people maybe didn't like him because they were college kids, right? They weren't always doing the things that they should have been doing, and he would bust their butt about it. And so I don't feel the need to do this. And man, if this is like a once in a year thing, if this is every once in a while, I'm kind of cool with it, right? But if this is how you're communicating with your athletes on a regular basis, you're out of touch. You don't have the respect. There's not a relationship, because the other thing you didn't mention there, Christian, you said respect, but there's a relationship, right? You can communicate effectively with athletes when there's a relationship built and they trust you. So there's probably a lack of trust somewhere there. The athletes don't trust him for some reason. So if this is like a regular basis, I don't really see the issue. If it's a once in a while thing, I think it's okay once in a while, because Coach Smith would do it once in a while, and I think we were okay with that. And I think lots of times it helped get the point across, and it was okay. And I guess the last thing I would mention there, though, is that, dude, in 2021, you have Trent Dilfer is aware that cameras are on and on him also, right? So I almost think for some reason he thought this was the right thing to do, and it was like either he lost his mind, and he got so mad that he forgot people were filming him, or he thought this was the right thing to do. And I have seen people on social media saying, I love it when coaches say this to athletes, or I specifically saw one guy say, any of my kids' coaches could talk to my kids like this, and I thought it was healthy, or something to that effect, right? So I think there are still people who look at this type of behavior and say that is healthy. That is the way that coaches can talk to athletes. So I think there's that too.
Yeah, and I don't. And honestly, there's occasions. I don't know if I said it in the beginning, but I think there are occasions where, hey, yelling, getting loud, coming unglued a little bit is fine, and like good coach. I look at this video and I'm just looking through, is this good coaching or bad coaching? I'm not gonna vilify, is this child abuse or that's kind of like, I'm not really getting into that, and I don't think it is that. But I just think, is this effective, right? And I think yelling absolutely is effective. Depends on the circumstance. I definitely did it as a coach
once in a while.
Yes. But if that's your note, if that's your one note, is just like, oh, he's the yelling coach, it's like, well, it loses its effectiveness completely and totally. I thought he just looked out of control in this. I thought he looked like things were spiraling in a way he didn't like, and he's to get it to the physical thing was like that is the more.
Yeah, I don't know. Listen, I don't know about putting your hands on kids. I'm not saying you need to slap them or nothing, right?
Yeah.
But for example, getting eye contact, like raising a kid, raising their head up when they want to, a lot of times after matches, they want to stare down. It's like, I want to make sure we're communicating effectively. So raising their head up or grabbing them by the arm when they want to go away. If they pull hard, whatever, they can go, right? But hey, I would like to talk to you. I'd like to have a conversation. Let's look each other in the eye here and communicate effectively.
Yeah.
So I don't think that would be out of line to do that. But yeah, I think he was kind of shaking him again. He probably lost his temper. So yeah,
I'll start in pads.
Yeah,
not ideal communication.
JD's from Jewel, Iowa. This is that looked like Little League practice to JD. Ain't nothing.
That's true. Huh?
He's like, "Where's the cattle prod?"
Yeah. Cola had it easy.
Yeah, you should have grown up in Jewel. Yeah, so I thought this was interesting, and that there is this the element of this is in wrestling. Obviously, it's a really intense sport. It's coached by really intense individuals. So this kind of thing, I'm certain happens in wrestling, and probably from youth all the way up through college. I'm sure there's coaches that are getting loud, putting their hands on it, and it's an interesting thing. I think the psychology and the tactics of coaching are really, I think they're interesting to discuss.
Yeah, and I guess the other thing I'll just close it with here, I think we're going to move on to the next thing, is that, if I generally think that my demeanor or my ability to keep my composure is significantly better than middle school, high school kids, right? And so if they're losing their mind, if they're out of, listen, I'm going to let them go. Because go lose your mind. That's fine. You won't lose your mind forever. And then at some point, you're going to relax, come back, and then we can have a talk about it. Like I don't feel the need to talk to you, nor will it be effective when you're totally losing your mind. So go lose your mind. And then I'm going to tell you next time when you come back, I'm going to tell you, listen, dude, you freaking lost your mind. Like, how about we don't do that too often?
Yeah. It's kind of like let the moment happen. And then once they're clear, okay, that's the time to talk about
Let's watch the game film.
Yeah.
Let's put on the tape, brother.
Look, you threw your helmet here. You shouldn't have done that.
Yes. Okie doke. Next up, where do we go next? Well, JD wants us to power rank anything and everything.
Correct.
All right, why don't you
Wednesday.
intro your power ranking?
Can I ask JD a question before we start?
Yeah.
JD, what is the difference between ranking and power ranking?
I've always wondered.
Power ranking sounds so much cooler.
It's just you're ranking based on the power.
Yes.
Whereas the others, you may be weighing other factors. This one literally is just power.
Correct. It's just objective. Maybe you don't take so much data into it. It's just power ranking.
Yeah.
It's like pound for pound.
Well, pound for pound, I could probably find better than power ranking. But continue, JD.
Yeah, well, it started with our social media's post about favorite World Team Trials, and that kind of got my mind spinning of what are our favorite World Team Trials matches from the past, and maybe we could kind of rank those. And then it was like, well, what else can we rank? And then I went to Twitter last night and asked for what would fans want to see us rank, and so now it's like, well, let's just rank everything.
Yeah, you guys need to have an intern. You guys need to have multiple interns at Flow, because whenever we do these power rankings, I got home from practice last night. I ate some dinner. I opened up my email. It's episode 689, power rank all. I'm like, shit, how am I going to find all? Even in the last 20 years, how am I going to find every match that happened at the World Team Trials? Like, how am I going to come up with a freaking good list? I'm like, oh my God, this is going to take so long. Like, what am I going to do here? Like, if I could just click that open and you got intern, you say, intern Bob, get your butt over there and make us a list of every single match from the last 20 years. That would be so much easier. Can we hire some interns or what?
That's why this one was kind of hard, because the actual question was, what is the best World Team Trials in American history? And it's like, I don't feel like I can answer that, seeing as how I haven't been around that long, especially for a good chunk of a good part of American wrestling history. Yes. But for at least this one, we could do like our favorite, like what are our favorite World Team Trials matches? I feel like I can definitely answer that.
Can we hire some interns or what?
There's one in the room right now, then. His name's Rich.
JD? JD's
no, JD. Oh! JD's full time.
Catching strays.
No.
Shrapnel.
We need a couple more. Make us lists. When we want to do a power ranking, you give me a list of 100. I'll narrow that thing down real quick.
Come on, you've got the memory. I mean, just like, we're not going to rank top 10. Just to speak to what, like,
top three. Off the top of my head, 2017 was so amazing, and there was multiple, right? The JD, Jaden Cox, David Taylor matches were awesome. The Burroughs, Dake matches were totally awesome. I mean, so just like when you say right away, 2017 comes to mind because there were so many different series that were really, really good. Obviously, historically, the one that would probably be, I don't want to say the most famous or thought about would be Brand's Kendall Cross, and you guys made a movie about that, and it was a tremendous series. Those are the ones that came to my head first.
Smith Lewis comes to mind historically, but obviously I didn't watch that.
Yeah.
So
those ones I've never even seen full matches of JD. I don't know if you have, but I've seen like clips of the matches, but I've never seen like the entirety of all of the matches.
So I thought the two that stick out to me are Burroughs Dake 2 in 2017, Burroughs Imar 1 in 2019. Totally crazy matches. Gilman NATO Trials in 17 was insane. This was not a final.
Really?
This was like a challenge tournament. It was like just like a buzzer beater, like really exciting match. For Gilman, just like got it at the last possible. That one stuck out. I'm trying to think.
I mean, the other one that's like, and a lot of it was, I guess maybe the circumstance, I guess you'd say, was the 2012 Olympic Trials Finals when it was in Madison. Not Madison Square Garden. Help me out here. Where was it?
Carver.
Hockey.
No. The
12
final
Olympic trials
ones
were in Carver.
60 kilograms. Coleman
yeah.
Scott.
Beat the streets.
Times Square.
Yeah.
Times Square. Yes. That one. Like I said, and a lot of had to say, if you put that in a gym and it's along with other matches, maybe it's not as great. But when you put it in Times Square, and that there's this buildup of qualifying the weight. I don't know. I thought that was a really awesome one too.
Agreed. It was awesome when Coleman beat Bunch there. Trying to think of some other really, really good ones.
The Day Cow. Someone mentioned Day Cow, and Day Cow was fantastic.
There were a couple different Day Cows.
The marathon match?
There was the marathon Day Cow, and then there was the crazy one where he that was in
5-5-1, right?
So 2013
was
was the one that lasted like 20 minutes, and then they wrestled in 2014 or 15
in Iowa.
No, in
Madison.
In Wisconsin. I was there. Yes.
Yeah. And like Dake did the thing. He like looked like he like dislocated his knee completely. It was just a crazy little ducked under.
Wild.
There's a great Tony Rotundo photo of that.
Yeah. So those are some great World Team Trials matches for sure.
Do y'all like the marathon match? Like, some people love it. Other people say that is like Exhibit A for criteria.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
I remember in 2000, was it? Maybe it was 2000. So I was at the 2000 and 2004 Olympic Trials. But there's a heavyweight Greco match. I don't even remember the athletes right now, but it was the rule set was you had to score 3 points for the match to be over, and neither one of them had scored 3 points, and the match went on for like 27 minutes or something totally insane like that.
Brutal. Okay. So those are good.
Selfishly, mine is JB Imar 1 and 2 are my favorite.
Yeah, that was an interesting one because like
3 was kind of anticlimactic.
Yeah, the Imar was just done at that point, which
is crazy because he won match 2.
Yeah, and Burroughs is the older athlete. And he had the cut issue or whatever, and still.
And it was like JB gutted out match 1. Match 1 was very close, and then lost in match 2 in a close match. And you're like, momentum is Isaiah.
Exactly.
He's going to take match 3. That's what I was thinking going in, and that shouldn't doubt the king, I guess.
These weren't particularly exciting, but Snyder unseating Varner officially.
That was a boring match. Seriously.
Yeah, they're kind of boring.
Don't bring that up. Don't bring that in here.
Actually, the first one was actually the Olympic Trials one was a little more exciting because Varner took match 1, but then just Snyder was just a little too much there.
Yeah, because they wrestled first in 2015 at the World Team Trials in Madison also.
Yes.
And it was very controlling by Snyder. There's no dramatics to it or anything like that.
Oh, I know another one. Another really good one was
Let's go.
Jordan Oliver, Brent Metcalf 2013. This one was really spicy. It was close. Metcalf ran him down, I think. And then at the end it had the classic Metcalf like tackled him at the end with time on the clock, and Jo shoved him, And Metcalf gave the, like, this is I wrestle. I continue to wrestle. Do you remember this, Ben? You're looking like.
I don't remember that. So I'm remembering the 2014 series in Madison. No. I'm not remembering the 2013. Give me what gym was it in so I can.
Gallagher-Iba.
Gallagher-Iba. No, I don't remember. Oh yeah, so I remember that was your Dake wrestled Burroughs.
Yeah.
And also how. No, I don't remember that one.
I'm gonna send it to Tyler and maybe he can pull up the last little bit here because it went crazy after it happened. I remember like people were like, because obviously this was like pretty far from the shove, but it was still very much in people's minds. All right here.
It would be so nice to get a full list of the last. I mean, I could speak to the last 20 years. I went to the 2000 Olympic trials in Dallas, and like just off the top of my head, the ones I'm remembering, the Colette Zadok series. I remember that was the first time I'd really watched Colette wrestle a whole bunch in person, and it was really awesome watching him. And then I remember, because at that time one of my personal favorites was Stephen Neal. So Stephen Neal had won the world title in 99, and then came back and he lost. He ended up losing. They weren't all that exciting matches, but he ended up losing to Kerry McCoy in the 2000 Olympic trials, and I was really excited for those matches. But they weren't super down to the wire or anything.
Got it. Well, we've got the clip here. If you want to, maybe this will jog your memory. Here we go.
In the front headlock position.
So it's the end of the Metcalf Jo match. Jo takes one last shot, and Brent just kind of pancakes him over, shoves his face, and Brent's like,
that wasn't as dramatic as you had described.
It was, dude. This was dramatic at the time for sure. Everyone's like, because it immediately put people in all their camps. There's like the hate Iowa, hate how Brent Metcalf wrestles, hate the little extra or the perceived extra, and then there's like the people that love it and wrestle all 6 minutes kind of thing. Anywho, all right. Next up, where are we going? Are we power ranking anything else, JD?
You know what? Those TV shows, I wanted to give you guys an answer since it was in the doc. I'd only watched one of them. Only one.
Shoot.
2.5 was way too high of a line.
That's why I said 2.5 was a better episode line.
2.5 what?
Episodes of all those shows combined.
No, I ended up watching the whole Wire series, but Christian knew I watched the whole Wire series, and that was, it was 15 years after the show. No, maybe 20 years after the show actually aired on TV.
Yes.
But of the rest of the shows, I don't know that I'd ever watched one episode of any of the rest of them.
Yeah. So the question was, you can only save 3 of these shows. The rest are deleted from history. So this was easy for me, and I'll read the 9 shows: Sopranos, Walking Dead, Game of Thrones, The Wire, Boardwalk Empire, Ozark, Breaking Bad, Sons of Anarchy, and Prison Break. Now, I haven't seen quite a few of these, like Sons of Anarchy, Boardwalk Empire, or Prison Break, which I have no idea what that's even about. But
Bray pooped all over it.
Bray hated Prison Break.
Yeah, he said it's just like the same plot over and over again. Like,
let me
there's
guess.
a prison, they get out, they go back to prison, they get out,
They break prison.
they go back to prison.
You know what? But
they get out.
I'm kind of with that. It's kind of like just play the hits. It's like, what is there anything more exciting in cinema than people breaking out of prison? You just can't beat it.
Oh my God.
It's perfect. It can't be done.
In my opinion, it's a disgrace that The Walking Dead even got on this list.
Oh my gosh, terrible show.
So I know my wife has watched Walking Dead. I think I have watched a couple episodes of Ozark with my wife when I sat down. And then she's also watched, which one? I think she watched Breaking Bad. So I think that's the only one she's watched. I don't think she's watched the other ones. So they've been on my TV, and maybe I've glanced at them, but not, haven't watched.
So my 3 was easy. It was The Wire, which everyone knows is my favorite show of all time ever. Breaking Bad, which is fantastic, and The Sopranos. So I could talk for a long time about all these. I'm rewatching The Sopranos for, I think, the 3rd time. First time I watched it, I didn't like it very much at all. It was just too dark for me. I didn't like any of the characters, really. And then I kind of watched it with
Which is crazy.
Which is crazy. They're terrible. I mean,
But they're hilarious.
Yes. Now,
Terrible and hilarious.
So
That's what makes it great.
So I watched it after I watched The Wire, and which is a very serious show. There's maybe like 3 jokes in the entire catalog of The Wire. It's pretty serious. There's not like, and so I watched it kind of with that sort of frame. I never had heard it was funny. So when you're watching it and you're watching Polly Walnuts murder this old woman, it's like, it's just maybe it was just like, oh my gosh, what am I watching? This is just the worst thing in the world. Then as you watch it again and it's funny, like everyone's like, this is actually a hilarious show, and you watch it with that lens, it's like, wait, this show is actually hilarious. I think the reason the Sopranos claim for the GOAT status is just the acting performances. I think are some James Gandolfini in that it's got to be one of the greatest performances in the history of acting. It's just it's unbelievable how good he is and how good the acting is throughout. Whereas The Wire definitely had some characters in there that weren't the best actors. But I liked so many more characters in The Wire. And then there's Breaking Bad, which I thought was the most perfectly had perfect architecture for the story. Just the beginning and the end, and everything made sense and fit together really, really well. So I couldn't recommend those shows more highly. I would not watch them with your children.
For my money, Boardwalk Empire is the most underrated show of all time. I feel like almost nobody has seen it.
I agree. Same here.
It is tremendous if you like violence. Steve Buscemi is up there with Gandolfini in his acting performance in it. So everybody go watch Boardwalk Empire. It's my number 2 behind Sopranos. And then I don't really care which one you toss in for number 3. Maybe Game of Thrones so I could rewatch it.
Oh my gosh. Game of Thrones.
Because I only watched it once, and it was while it was live. So maybe if I went back and rewatched it, binged, I would like it more.
Gotta be one of the most overrated shows ever.
You just didn't like the way it ended.
True, but true. I did not like the way it ended.
So it left a completely bitter taste in your mouth.
Yeah.
Now, there are way too many storylines for me, which is why I didn't really like it that much. So I feel like if I went back and rewatched it a second time and binged, maybe I would like it more.
I don't need any homework for shows. Can I just know what's happening, please? Who is this person? I don't know this lady. I don't know the people they're talking about. But yeah. But The Wire is the greatest show there's ever
I love
been.
The Wire.
Great show, but
It's great. It's great. Genius. Okay. Anything else to power rank?
You know what? A fun one in which I also maybe feel not totally is, and maybe we could do this from an American perspective, but someone said most prestigious tournaments to win. I thought that would be a lot of fun.
Oh, let's do that.
Olympics is 1, Worlds is 2, but then for me to go through and dissect each international tournament, I'm sure there's a couple of them that are more prestigious than, so we'll say that probably the World Team Trials or Olympic Team Trials in the United States is probably next for an American.
Well, why don't we just make it all tournaments? It doesn't have to be international.
I'd say you're Regan.
That's what I'm saying. I don't know those ones. I'm saying I don't know what is. Those tournaments are probably 3, 4, and 5 or something. And then you're gonna go. Are you gonna go Russian Nationals next, or are you gonna go U.S. World Team Trials? You know what I'm saying?
I would put it through the eyes for us as an American, but it's you can't win Russian Nationals, but you can win. Your Regan.
You might try. You might enter.
It is possible for me to win the Eurigan.
Yes.
It is technically possible.
I think you could get your citizenship changed. So I think just prestige is not just what is the toughest, right? It is very prestigious to win the NCAA wrestling tournament. It is as prestigious as. Yeah.
So are we talking from strictly an American perspective? Are we talking because if we're talking for say a European wrestling fan, one of those big I don't know, are there any European wrestling fans? There's got to be a couple, I'm sure, right? Some of those big international tournaments are clearly higher than the NCAAs, right?
Yeah, they don't care about League of Students.
Yeah, they call it League of Students.
Or Champion of Students.
They always call Kyle Dake a 4-time champion of students.
Oh my gosh.
And Spencer Lee.
That's very funny. The Russian translations are freaking perfect. All right. Well, yeah, if you're just talking toughest tournaments to win, just the the hardest tournaments to win. It's Olympics, it's Worlds, probably Russian Nationals. Then
The Europeans?
Euros. Yeah, Euros.
It might be Euregan might be above Euros.
I don't think so.
It depends on the
There's
weight in the
multiple
year.
entries.
Sometimes it is definitely harder.
I don't think so. I think it is
On average.
On average, Euros is tougher, in my opinion. Then Euregan. Then maybe we start getting into our trials type of thing, our world team trials.
That's where, like, I feel like maybe there's a few other international tournaments on a yearly basis that may be tougher, but I just don't know what those are. And I also wish there were more of them, right, where we had a really good conglomeration of your international wrestlers showing up. And then, so then we probably go, world team trials, Olympic team trials, America, and then,
Asians.
NCAAs. But you can go back to Asians, or you can go back to,
It also fluctuates.
What's our list of international tournaments? Let's take how about this? We take out any international tournaments, non-continentals or worlds. That's easier.
And you know what else? What I would put in there is freaking Junior Worlds.
Junior Worlds is up there.
It's really, really tough. Really, really tough.
It also fluctuates year to year, and the introduction of the ranking series has changed things. Like, obviously, that has made Pelicone
That's my
way
thing.
tougher.
So that's my thing. The fluctuation in the level of talent and skill tournament to tournament for some of these is so variable that it reduces their prestige, because year in, year out, Russian Nationals is going to be ridiculous. Our World Team Trials will be ridiculous. Euros is always going to be tough. Asians will always be tough. Olympic World's always tough. Medved or this one or that one, Declane, totally year to year. Totally, even a rankings tournament, you don't know.
Yeah.
So that's what feeds into the prestige factor for me.
There was actually a second part of this question that I thought you would be good to answer, Ben. How do you power rank tournaments for high school wrestlers wanting to get as best as they can to earn a college scholarship?
Oh, I know this one. This for me, this one's
I know what
pretty
you're going to
easy.
say.
Oh, okay. So I would go Super 32 1,
Mm-hmm.
UWW Cadets 2. UWW Juniors I take out because there is a large proportion of college kids. So if we're talking about college scholarships, mostly those kids are older. Obviously that would be tougher than the other ones, but we're taking that one out. So I would go Super 32. UWW Cadets would be 1 and 2. Fargo would be 3. Obviously you're going juniors in that one. And really after that,
Junior
then
100,
I feel like
of course.
Huh?
Junior 100 should be canceled. That should
The weight.
weight
He
class.
said, Ben
The
said
weight
you're going
class.
juniors at Fargo. And I said
Junior 100 should be canceled. It should be.
It's the 55
so
kilos.
Yeah.
it's worse. There's no one there. It's empty. So I would do those 3, and then after that, there's really a gigantic drop off, and after that, really, I think it's all about matchups. So you being able to tell a college coach, look, maybe it's junior duels. Hey, I wrestled this guy, I beat that guy, and here's the film of it, and watch this film and watch me beat this guy. Where would you go, CP?
Well, I think a big one you didn't mention is Ironman. I think that's a really great tournament year in, year out.
Yeah.
Not everyone can go,
That
though.
one sucks for us because we can't go. We can't just show up at Ironman. And that's, and also so, as far as like Wisconsin people are concerned, like I don't think all that much about that one or Beast of the East or Powerade.
Right.
I'm guessing at the Reno because we don't go to any of those, unfortunately.
Yeah. So I would other ones that are just big to win. If you're a PIAA champ, that means something.
Any
right?
Also can't enter that
state
one.
with a single class. New Jersey, California, not Pennsylvania, but toss Pennsylvania in with those two that are single class are like huge state titles.
Yeah. Ohio, it seems like it's sort of rare for the best guys to hit. It happens, obviously, but they have several divisions. Virginia, obviously a VHSL single A title is
Do you
is
agree with
evaded
my number
many
1,
greats.
2, and 3?
What's that?
Did you agree with my 1, 2, and 3?
Super 32, yes. Cadets, yes. Fargo, yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep, I agree with those. Yeah, I think those are just the proving grounds right now. I mean, super to me, it's Super 32, and then it's a couple rungs down, right? In terms of like you just know someone that can run that gauntlet just has like really good folk style chops, right? You can't get a good matchup, or you can't. It's a real proving ground, and it's chewed up some really good wrestlers. There's some really good guys.
Spit them out.
Shoot them up, spit them out.
The other one, UWW kids can get really tough sometimes because the weight classes are further spread out. So sometimes you're getting this, like say it goes 143, 156, 176, right? So at 156, you're potentially getting some big 45s. You're getting all the 52s. You're most likely getting almost all of the 60s. And potentially some really small 170s. You might get them too because, you're probably not because it's a big drop down, but it's also 176. And they're like, oh, man, these are going to be big dudes up here.
Yes. And I wonder, as you're – all right, I'm a college coach. This is a true fantasy land. But, like, how do you weigh, okay, a 4-minute freestyle match, I want this person to be on my 7-minute college folk style team. There's some variances, and this guy's lacing people. Like, how do you factor that into your evaluation? Because those are the perfect skills to have in freestyle, but at some point you've got to see how this kid does in folk style. Now, there's not a lot of examples of guys who have just really.
There's definitely some, though.
I know. There's definitely some.
Anthony Valencia would be a great one, for example.
Sure, Jared Verclaren's definitely one. Cadet World Champ.
Logan Massa always does better in freestyle than folk style. Right? There's definitely guys that are for sure.
For sure. No doubt about it. So there are those guys that are, you have to be wary of a guy that's like gets on top one time and laces people like crazy, and then that's the. But in general, I think if you look at the last couple of world teams, these guys are all pretty complete wrestlers and very competent folk stylers. But I think Super 32 is far and away. But anytime you have to navigate a gauntlet like cadets, like Fargo, you're going to learn a lot.
Yeah, 100%.
Okay, want to get to some questions out of.
We got a video submission yet?
We do have we had a couple, yeah. We might play like a bunch of voicemails and video submissions maybe tomorrow.
Oh, we got to keep telling people about this. So we've got, or why don't you, JD?
Yeah, we have a new voicemail number and email if you want to send in a video submission, or you can send in an audio message. That email, you can even text the number of video submission. Actually, if you want, that number is 515-509-5071. The email is frlsubmissions@flowsports.tv, 515-509-5071, and frlsubmissions@flowsports.tv. Shout out to everyone that already sent in. We've got a handful of voicemails and a couple video submissions. Keith Gothard, he's always in the chat. He was number 1. So shout out to you, Keith.
Boom. First ever.
All right. Keeping it moving. First question.
Man, you guys put like 7 pages of questions in it. I started scrolling. I couldn't get to the end.
Well, they're
It
kind of
doubled
bigger.
up.
Oh yeah, that may have been my fault. What's more likely to happen by 2024? Pico comes out of retirement and medals, or IOC allowing all 10 weights at the Olympics? I think both are negligible.
Both are 0.
Yeah.
I'll say Pico.
Yeah, but the answer would be Pico. We're definitely not having
Pico because yeah.
We will not have 10 weights. I'm sorry.
Unfortunately.
Okay, hypothetical scenario. If Chael, Ben, and Sion all pronounce a foreign wrestler's name correctly, you get $1 million.
Oh, I'm winning.
They only get to try one name. Whose
You better pick me.
do you have them attempt, and how close do they get? Well, Ben is definitely winning this.
Yes. Damn straight.
But it's not gonna be good. What is the full name of the guy that lost to? If we got a Mongolian, it's like game over. You can sort of
Erdenabot. I can do Erdenabot.
Bekbatpatar, like remember Tertatog Lufsendorsch? That's I don't even know if I said it right.
Some of those you need like pronunciation keys because they just don't have the same phonetic alphabet.
True.
Yes.
So I would probably get a Mongolian name. You know what, Joe? I'm sorry, I didn't do all my homework on this one. That's Joe Gilpin.
Oh, wait, so you say I have to get it wrong? Oh, I thought you wanted me to get it right.
No, I want you to get it right. Oh yeah.
Okay, so hypothetical scenario: if China all pronounced for and you correctly, you get $1 million. They only get to try one name. What? Wouldn't you have me do an easy one then?
Yeah, but flip it.
Yeah, flip it.
Is a better
We're
question.
gonna make it a hard one.
Well, you need to make CP wins $1 million. JD picks the name, and he doesn't want you to win. Like that's what it should be.
Got
like
it.
that.
I like that.
Yeah.
All right, most memorable head and arm throws to win big matches.
Caldwell's
Was big. Matt McDonough had a couple.
Really?
Yeah.
In what matches?
Against Brandon Preeson, and he did it against, I think, David Thorne once.
Really? I don't remember those matches.
Because you're an Iowa hater, and you would never bring yourself to watch it.
I love Matt McDonough. He's great.
I know. All right, well, I'll find it. You proceed, and I'll send this to Tyler.
I don't remember. I think I remember Mark Hall and Jason Nolf both hitting a head and arm, but I don't think we call it headlock too. I don't know why you call it head and arm.
We call it cowboy.
Oh, for God's sakes!
So does Bracky.
Are there any other really big ones? I mean, the Caldwell ones, like I'm sure Bo Nickel hit one in some big match because Bo Nickel hits headlocks.
But in like a big match.
Big match.
I don't know.
He hit a lot of double overs and stuff like that. I mean, I feel like there had to be one, but I can't think of one right now.
Yeah, I don't know. I can't think of it. I'll find this one though. Let me find it. The McDonough headlock. It was pretty epic.
Okay.
All right. Next question. Have you seen the car Sidikov rolls around in? No, I haven't. The Russians clearly pay better.
Very nice. It is very nice.
You've seen it? What are we working with?
Why don't we have the Instagram right now?
Yeah, I was not prepared. I can pull it up. But they like all get cars when they win too.
Okay.
I'm not always sure. Also, like sometimes they just put up nice things on their stories. I'm not sure if it's actually theirs, or sometimes I feel like they drive it and then I never see it again.
I told people that I won 3 different cars and I didn't win any, and the media just wrote stories about it. It was great. Some people think I stole. Great.
Samalov was in a green something the other day.
Wow. Well described.
Volkswagen buggy.
It looked like it looked like a
convertible.
Mustang convertible, but like you can't really tell for sure.
Man, this guy's like, what's he, third string? What's our third string drive? My gosh. Yeah, all right, we've got the McDonough headlock here. Ben's never seen it. It was pretty epic. He was down 3-0 at the time in the third period. Preeson kind of gave McDonough fits, even though he might have won more than he lost against him. Go ahead. But yeah, he's got a lefty headlock that he fires off. Boom.
Oh my gosh, that Brandon Preeson that worked, man. Now all these years, Christian Piles is bringing this up on FRL. Brandon Preeson's freaking rolling his eyes, and he's probably got a nice office job somewhere making
he does.
money. And he's like, oh, freaking Piles, you butt nugget.
I just remember it. I'll try to find the Thorn one too to balance it out. But they definitely stuck out. All right, we'll do one more question, then we will depart.
That didn't even look like a good headlock. I'm not really sure how it worked. I think you guys should start sending me tacos on Wednesday to make me feel like part of the team. Like every Wednesday when I get done with the show, I want to walk upstairs and I have nice tacos courtesy of FloWrestling.
Hey, isn't there a time you're coming to HQ? Didn't you say?
I will be there. I'm doing a show on Thursday with you guys.
This Thursday.
No. September. Hold on. I'll
some Thursday in the future. It's not like we do it every Thursday.
September 23. September 23.
September 23rd. Okay, got it. Write it down. Ben in HD in studio. May not be room at the desk.
With tacos after
With
the show.
Oh, you're not going to get tacos on Thursday. You just need to come in Wednesday. Maybe you know what? We'll try to get some.
I'm going to do the show with you guys on Wednesday, and I'm going to go catch the plane afterwards, so there's no way I'll be there in time for tacos.
All right. Well, we'll try to, maybe we'll get a special order for you.
Okay.
Because you love tacos so much. All right. Well, we're going to go. We thank you guys so much for listening. Thanks to Braxton Amos for coming on. Tomorrow, our Russian correspondent, King G, Gina, hopping on. That's going to be exciting. Maybe we can talk cars. How did Zamolov get such a baller vehicle? King G, what do you drive? Is it easy to get these great cars? Do you have to be a really good wrestler? Well, there's so much we can learn. And oh yeah, who's Russia sending? What's the word on the street? We're not in those streets, unfortunately. But King G is. He's in Moscow. Thank you guys so much for listening. We got a lot of great content coming out about the World Team Trials. It'll be hitting the internet very, very soon. Thank you guys. Happy Wednesday. Taco time.